Welcome gamers, today we're going to check out Operation Thunder Hurricane. This is an arcade rail shooter developed and published by Konami back in 1996. And players basically take on the role of the gunner in an attack chopper. So this is a war-based game, and you're battling tanks, helicopter gunships, and troops on the ground. Pretty decent graphics, kind of fall in line with Sega Model 1, Model 2 type graphics. Really a lot of fun to play. It doesn't emulate perfectly in MAME, but it's good enough to play, so let's check it out. Aiming is a little problematic in this game. It's definitely not perfect, but it's playable. And you do have bombs, but they're very limited. There, I just used one of my bombs. This was not a really popular arcade game in the US. I don't think it was widely distributed here. So a lot of people really don't know much about this game. It's not super long either. I kind of wish that you could switch weapons and that you had more bomb attacks. And so here, this part, now we're fighting ground forces. We've got tanks. You got these guys in these Humvees that come out. Get mounted gunners on the ground. Kind of blocky graphics, not very 3D. I think they were trying to pull off that effect. They didn't quite get it. And from what I understand, this game runs on the same hardware as some of the racing games, the Konami-based racing games of the same era. Attack choppers. And we're gonna battle a bunch of tanks here in just a minute.
Okay, are you ready to rock? Attack!
Get a lot of these guys that come out. I believe if there's 4 tanks, we have to battle in just a moment here. Yeah, here they come. We're hit. And you can see that there's a bit of screen tearing in the frames. Doesn't look like this game ran at a really high frame rate. But otherwise, it's just a typical rail shooter. You do not control any of the movements. That would have been cool. I would like to see something like this where you have kind of an open world environment where it's not so much a rail shooter. You can control your aircraft. And you get these scenes like this that are just ridiculous. There's so many people firing at you. And now we're off into the deserts. There's a bunch of tanks here. Still got one bomb left. And you can see that there's no aiming reticule, and I thought that kind of made things a little bit more difficult. Because you have to use the visual cue of your shots in order to really aim. And you can see that there's some audio glitches from the emulation. Like I said, it's definitely not perfect. And the graphics kind of remind me a lot of games like Sega's Rail Chase. A lot of tanks in this game. Another thing to note too is that most of the ground troops that you battle against, they all look exactly the same. There's a lot of repetitiveness in this game. Okay, so now we've got kind of this swamp attack. This part reminds me a bit more of games like Operation Wolf. If you've ever played the original, it has sort of this jungle scene really similar to this. Of course, that was a side scroller, the original one. You can see they all look exactly identical. There's no variations in the characters. It just would have been nice to have more weapons to choose from. Maybe some like homing missiles or something like that. That's the other thing too, when you continue in this game, you automatically get a bomb attack. Now we're battling all these mounted gunners. I think that's the last one, yeah.
Final mission. Destroy the enemy's main battle forces.
And you can see we're already approaching towards the end of the game. It's not very long. It's like some sort of a military base here. We got some gunboats.
We're hit!
Wow, these guys just bombed the crap out of you. Really cheesy dialogue in this game too. It's definitely not. The storyline is not compelling at all. The dialogue is just very, very repetitive. But what makes it cool is this constantly changing scenery. Where you're like, you know, you're in the jungle and then you're in the desert and then you're like in these caves. They did a pretty good job in that respect. Now we got this giant attack chopper. A waterfall. think this is the final battle here. It's coming up. Now we got this giant submarine. I think we got a battle. He's firing homing missiles at us. And I'm not sure, I don't think this game was ever ported to consoles. I think this was an arcade exclusive. Okay, let's see where, yeah, that's the end of the game. It's not very long. That was only, what, 17 minutes. Very, very short game indeed. Fun to play, but also very repetitive with the actions of your character. But a lot of good constantly changing sceneries. Definitely made it worth playing. If you're a fan of rail shooters, this is definitely worth checking out in Maine. So anyways, many thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. Check out Gamers Bay Community on Google+. And if you have time, follow Gamers Bay's official brand page on Google+ as well to stay up to date with the latest gaming news and reviews. The links will be below in the description. Many thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.